Hello, girls, guys, or otherwise. This is Rich, and welcome to another Witchy Book Club series. We are going through Chapter 10 of the Inner Temple Witchcraft by Christopher Penzak. As per usual, if you do not have your copy, you can get them on Amazon. I will have a link provided in the description below, so you can pick up your copy there. You can also get it from your local witchy shop, which I do recommend. Small business sellers. I think I got mine from a local witchy shop, and yeah, help support the little businesses and whatnot by getting them there if that is at all possible. You can also pick it up in an electronic version as well. So we are going through chapter 10. Before we go into chapter 10, uh, I want to first say this at the beginning because I constantly forget to do this. Go down, leave me a comment on anything that you have to agree, disagree, or otherwise mock me for with this chapter. It's always well appreciated, as long as if it's respectful, of course. And remember to hit that like button and hit subscribe if you have not been subscribed. And let's get into the lesson. We're first going to go back to chapter 9, where we're going to go over a couple of the things for our assignments. Exercise 20 was one of our assignments for this. This is the protection shield. If I can talk, it'd be great. The protection shield. Now, this one, I believe, yes, this is the one that was like a crystal and whatnot. Again, I don't usually do that one. I do more of a bubble, and it works quite well for me. And it kind of looks a little like that whenever I do my bubble, except it's more in the ovular shape of me. Anyway, and then we had the assignments of daily journaling for 3 pages. I've been journaling fairly well this week. Not as well as I have done in the past, but still fairly well. I am not going to complain. My journaling is getting stronger, so I am so thankful for that. Focus on a regular meditation practice at least 3 times a week, if not daily. I am failing at this. And it's more so that I have booked myself to the utmost capacity that I can. I have like 5 different projects going on in the background, including doing videos and a full-time job. A lot of times what my meditation practice is having a conversation and trying to listen for deity's words to come to me. And that often happens in car drive or driving the car, oddly enough. I will flat out, like, something will come up on a podcast I'm listening to or something like that, and I'll pause the podcast and I will have a full-on half-hour, 45-minute conversation for the rest of the ride about something that just popped into my head. And it will be something that I work through verbally, and as I'm working through it, it's kind of like a therapy session. But while I'm working through that, little things pop into my mind that I can only assume would be divine guidance of sorts. So it has actually kind of become a meditative practice, although it's not the regular sit there, be in the still, be in the silence of meditation that is most commonly associated with a meditative practice. I will say that during Lent, I have, as I've shared with you guys, have taken up saying the rosary every day, and meditating on the mysteries that are with each one of the Gnostic rosaries. So I have been doing that. I had one day since Lent began that I did not do it, and I got into bed and I'm like, oh crap, I didn't do my prayers today, and I felt really bad. And even though it doesn't make up for it, I did them twice the next day. So Anyway, that has also become like a meditative practice. Outside of Lent, I don't know if I'm going to continue it as a daily practice, um, but I am really kind of enjoying doing the practice right now as a daily practice. Again, I don't know if I'm going to do it continuing on after Lent, but it has become something of a way of me focusing on uh, setting aside at least the 20 minutes, 30 minutes that it takes me to pray the rosary. So, yeah, that's also become a meditative practice of sorts for me. Not only meditation, but also an act of prayer. Um, Honor and recognize your intuition, always doing that. And continue to ask questions, always doing that. Using instant magic in your daily life. Again, I don't do magic all the time. Uh, I'm not one of those witches that always has a spell going or working going at all times, that I do it all the time. No, that's not me. That's not really something that I've always done. Um, Whenever the need calls for it, I definitely will. But unless the need calls for it, that I really need to have that extra oomph, I really try to do things under my own steam. And that's probably something I should get out of doing, and just continually practice every single day, or at least once a week, hold a session, like a spell crafting session, for something that's weighing on my mind. So that might be something that I need to take up on a more regular basis. And neutralize unwanted thoughts and intentions. Again, I kind of, yeah, probably not going to do that, only because whenever I have negative thoughts or negative intentions, I I choose to take that as a meditation time, especially since whenever I'm at work, it's mostly just me. I have the occasional customer that comes in and out, tenants at a storage unit, and unless there's somebody else there, I have free reign to talk and think and work through um, whatever negativity might come into my own mind, or come towards me or whatnot. I have the capability of taking a moment, sitting back, and um, thinking through that. So, anyway, that was chapter nine's assignments and my explanation for either not doing or doing those. So, grab your coffee, grab your tea, grab your cappuccino, as I have here. This is vanilla latte, Keurig version, nothing fancy. So, go ahead and grab your beverage of choice, sit on back. Let's go ahead and delve into chapter 10, which is the power of light. And he starts off, I'm going to read the first paragraph because I think it is quite a good paragraph in and of itself. It kind of sets up the whole chapter fairly nicely overall. In Greek myth, the Titan Prometheus stole fire from the gods to bring it to humanity. Our benefactor was later punished by the gods of Olympus, sent to the underworld, and continuously tortured for his transgression. The light he gave to us, mythically, is an important symbol. On the physical level, it represents the ability to cook our food and light our homes in the dark, a technological advancement. On the spiritual level, this light is the potential for enlightenment, not only knowledge, but wisdom and understanding. In many cultures and religions, the quest for light in times of darkness is a central mythological theme, showing us the importance and power of light. And the reason I wanted to focus on this is because that is something that is more and more apparent to me as I am doing some of the things going on in the background, and I will reveal those in the far future. This is nothing that's going to be revealed anytime immediately. However, the subject of finding this quest for light is something that is speaking to me in the Gnostic sense of searching for the light, searching for that God spark within that is within us all. The Namaste, the God in me recognizes the God in you, and this quest for light is something that I have found time and time again in Gnostic beliefs of seeking out the God form within us and seeking that knowledge, that further knowledge and wisdom that brings us closer to the divine. And it's kind of like reaching nirvana whenever you've reached so much enlightenment that you become part of the light, you become one with the light. So until then, you go through reincarnation after reincarnation, as I believe it. And my thoughts aren't fully on board with everything that the Gnostics teach, but the more and more I study them, the more and more I'm like, makes sense. And I really like that Christopher in this points out he doesn't necessarily go down the list of the different cultures and different religions, but a lot of them are similar. We are searching for further light, further knowledge. Even in the Masonic practices, what do you seek? Light, further light, stuff like that. That is what your quest is light, enlightenment, further knowledge of God and the inner workings and that are encompassed within that brotherhood of being a Mason. So that first paragraph really spoke to me, and I really enjoyed it, and I just wanted to point that out. He goes on to say, in our modern metaphysical sense, light is information, light is energy. And I'm going to skip down to the bottom of this paragraph. Ultimately, everything, including matter, is a form of energy. So we talk a lot in the witchy pagan community about everything is energy. Everything is just this ball of energy, and we all have different vibrations at different amounts and whatnot. And light is information. Light is pure energy, unobstructed or undefiled, I guess you would even say. It is just energy. It just is, and it can be melded and morphed into something either solid or like a pen, or it can be something that is ethereal, like a loving thought that can be passed to somebody else. So I don't want to spend too much time on one thing here. I'm actually going to be doing a couple videos today, so I kind of want to run through this fairly quickly on this chapter. And it's not a terribly short chapter, so hopefully we can get through this fairly easily and fairly quickly and hit all the points that I found was important. And maybe you guys find something else that's important, and of course leave a comment below on it, or make your own video response and let me know that you made a video response. Unlike the old YouTube days, you don't have an immediate knowledge of video responses. Anyway, he goes on to say at the top of page 182, as living energy, we are constantly interacting with all forms of vibration, taking them in, releasing them, and processing them, much like we process food and air. And this is something that is fairly easy for me to kind of recollect in my mind as to what exactly that is. we bring in this air that we breathe. We bring in food that we eat that gives us energy. Therefore, we are processing, energy in that way. But we also process it in ways of being around another person. You can feel the love radiating off of certain individuals. You can feel the hate and vitriol of other individuals, and we can pick up on those fairly easily if we are in tuned to it, if we are aware of it. And sometimes it happens, and we're not really sure why we feel kind of yucky and kind of gross. And if you take notice of it, a lot of times it's whenever you're around those certain individuals, every time you go away from them, you feel like crap. Um, and also, in saying that, we also release this form of vibration, this energy from us, and being aware of what we are putting out there into the world is also important, because we can be those people that can make others feel gross. Moving on, down in the same paragraph here, about midway down, we can feel energy, but our human minds use symbols, sensations, and feelings to describe the energy we experience. And I'm going to skip around here. We feel warmth, coldness, tingling, heaviness, or peace. And this is something that, for the clairsentience out there, the people that have clear sensing, or even claircognizance, the clear knowing, anybody that's dealt with psychometry, where you feel something and you pick up stuff from that. That is something that these individuals will probably notice a lot easier than somebody that isn't necessarily adept at that. There are some people that pick it up very naturally and they're very quick with it, just like any skill, like playing a piano or even typing skills, for crying out loud. It's something that you either take to very naturally, very quickly, or you have to work a little harder to get there. So, again, yes, we can feel energy. A lot of times it either feels warm, cold, tingling, heavy, or peaceful. Those are just some of the ways that they feel. Other people, and sometimes this happens for me, is you get symbols. I often get sensations, and it more often than not comes from my back. I don't know why, but it's like in the middle of the back, like where a pressure point is. And whenever I get a certain feeling, I feel it there, and I'm like, okay, what's going on there? And that's where I most often feel it. Some people, they feel it through their hands. But whenever I feel something like that, I also get like little flashes, like little things here and there. And it's not always a certain symbol. Sometimes it's a little scene. Sometimes it's like a movie screen type of situation. It's very awkward, very weird, and I don't always know what it means. And I think I've told the story before of whenever a friend of mine died back in 2014, and in 2015 or 16, I was laying awake, and all I kept on seeing was, this box and whatnot, and I knew it was coming from her. So I wrote to her mother. I said, okay, your daughter's coming through. This is, it's a box with flowers on it. It keeps on opening up, and there's letters inside. For some reason, she wants me to tell you that. Turns out it was her keepsake box that I didn't know she had. So, yeah, it's stuff like that I get, like little images like that, little gifs almost. I'm not calling them gifs. Screw you guys if you call them gifs. I'm not. No, that's not how letters work. Sorry, I have a vendetta against the person who said they're supposed to be pronounced gifs. No, they're gifs. Anyway, that's how they come through to me, is more often than not like a little tiny snippet of a movie line or something like that. Anyway, moving on, he has here exercise 21, which is showers of light, and I really found this exercise interesting, especially whenever we're talking about chakras and colors and color correspondences and whatnot. And I kind of want to try this one. This one seems interesting, and I do have a military weekend, which is this weekend coming up, which is why, and I know I had one last weekend. That's just the way they fell this time. But this is something I might try, during my military weekend, because yeah, that's one reason I want to do these ahead of time, is I want to try this exercise during this weekend. It sounds like it would be very beneficial, and it's a way to kind of get that whole spectrum of colors to shower down on you, and I find it very interesting. I really kind of want to try it. So if you've tried this one before, let me know how it goes for you. I'm kind of eager to see how it manifests in my with my body and whatnot, and how that makes me feel afterwards. Anyway, going on to page 184 in your hymnals. Down at the bottom here, we have Christopher saying, magically, and I like how I say Christopher as if he's an old buddy and friend of mine, but don't know him. I wish I did. I think he'd be an interesting person to sit around and talk with. But anyway, he says, magically each color has certain correspondences, or correspondences, however you say that, relating to different elements, planets, and deities. Moving on down the paragraph here. Release your expectations about each color's energy. Try to qualify the feeling or sensation of each color in your body, mind, and heart. As you grow spiritually, your likes and dislikes of particular colors will change, and you will see the value in all colors. The ultimate goal is to be comfortable with all colors of the spectrum, because, like a painter, these are all tools in your magical palette. I love the way he words this, and it kind of speaks to me. I used to not so much like the color green. Now, if you saw my car, which I don't think I've shown my car, I know I did a video inside my newer car, but it is green, like lime green, almost like that green, probably little dots green right there. But I have kind of become a fan of green. Now, I will always love blue. It has been my color choice for years. But also, how cute is this? Come on now. And I keep on looking over here because that's where my monitor is. But anyway, we're just doing this off the cuff here. Blue has always been my color, but the more and more I go towards, green and red and yellows and whatnot, the more and more I don't really mind them as much. I used to have a kind of a hatred for green. There's another green thing of mine. My cup is greenish. But still very much a fan of the color blue. Yellow is another one, and I have to kind of show you guys this because this is just fun. This is one of the things that I like to keep on my desk because it is just happy and fun and oh so cool to have on your desk. Have a bright and shiny day. Hi, have a bright and shiny day. And it's a little bauble. I love it. But he kind of sits here and chills out, and if I'm ever having a moment where I'm just not so much feeling it, I just bounce him, and the yellow makes me happy. The yellow is uplifting and whatnot. So, colors like green and yellow, red even. Red isn't really my color, but I have grown to kind of see the joy in them and see the purpose in them. So, yeah. I've come to kind of be okay with all the colors, more or less, though I do still have a favorite of blue. So, as you can tell by my chair here. So, yeah. Anyway, we're going to move on from those. He goes through and he does put here the different colors, what they can be used for, the correspondences, and all that for them. Um, I am a proponent of coming up with your own correspondences. And even though you can go back and uh, you can look at these color correspondences and say, this is what it traditionally means. Is this what it means for me? I believe that if you go back and you go by the traditional meanings, but you don't really feel that way. Let's take it for instance. Okay, I'm gonna grab something here. Okay, say that. Let's see here. What does he say? Let's use the color green again. Okay, green is the color of life, growth, and healing. Okay, we're gonna take this little box for my fountain pen. Okay, so green is the color of life, growth, and healing. I associate it with love of the goddess and the earth, and I use it for healing on both the physical and emotional levels. It is also the color of money, and it can be used for prosperity. Green is also a color of the heart, used for love. So, I mean, I can go with this for love, but I'll tell you what, more often than not, if I'm gonna go for love, it's gonna be like a pink like that. That to me speaks love. Now, who's correct? Me or Christopher Penzak? For my practice, I would say it's me. You know, for a traditional meaning, he's correct because it's more associated with the heart chakra and whatnot. But if we're talking about my practice and how the color relates to me, I'm gonna pick pink over green for the heart. Now he does say for pink here. He says pink is the color of happiness and self-esteem. Use pink light when feeling down and out. It centers, calms, and brings uplifting thoughts and feelings. Pink is another color of the heart chakra and love. Pink is used to express love to yourself and others. See, I would use pink. I would not use green for love, even though you can, according to this. Green would never come into my mind for love. So if you are going through these and figure out what each individual color means to you and go with that, take into consideration the more quote unquote traditional meanings, but ultimately go with what calls to you and feels more comfortable to you, because that's what really matters here. Moving on, because I said this wasn't going to be a terribly long video, and it's starting to look that way. If you want to bring, this is middle of page 187. If you want to bring the qualities and intentions of a color into your life, do another light shower meditation, as in exercise 21, but only focus on that particular color. Imagine the light surrounding you, filling your aura. So this is interesting, and I kind of want to try that. For me, green would be prosperity and money all the way, all the time. That is a hard and fast thing for me. However, if you're in a country that doesn't have green money, maybe you have what some people that I know and myself in the past have referred to as funny money, because it's all different colors, different shapes, different sizes. If you have that type of money, then maybe you want to use a different color that more so represents money to you. And this type of meditation would actually help with that. It would help, like, if your money was blue, and you shower yourself with blue light that represents money to you, then that is actually working with the law of attraction and whatnot to bring that money to you. Moving on. Let me get a drink here real quick. Uh, let's see. He goes on to say about sending light. This is still on 187. Not only does color affect you personally, but like all vibrations, it can be sent out to affect the environment around you and even other people. Absolutely. Moving on to the next paragraph. In the physical world, we tend to think of things in terms of distance, space, and range. In the spiritual reality, we know that all things are one, all our thoughts in the divine mind. There is no distance or separation between us, just perceived distance. Moving down another sentence here. The more you do this work, the more you will discover that there is no distance limiting your thoughts, intentions, and magic. So that's something to keep in mind. If you're sending energy to, like, say I was in Delaware, like I will be this weekend, and I wanted to send energy to Jelly, who is right next to me as per usual, there is no distance between us. If I wanted to send it to my boyfriend here, there's no distance between us whenever it's magic. You know, when you're talking energy, it is like you are sitting right there. The energy doesn't have to travel throughout space and time. It goes there immediately. It's there. So that's something to keep in mind whenever you're talking about energy and your thoughts, intentions, magic, and whatnot. So yeah, I just want to point that out. Going to 188 here, we're going to move right along. The first full paragraph, using meditation or your trigger, you can send light and intention to a recipient. Once you reach a magical mindset, think about the person, place, or object you wish to connect to. Moving down, you can create a gateway using the symbol of the pentagram, open the connection by drawing the invoking pentagram and repeating the name of the recipient 3 times. Then intend to send light and energy. Think about your intention and choose a color, or intuit what color is correct. That's the important part, in intuiting what color would be correct. This not only gets in touch with your own intuition, but also with what would be correct for this person for whatever need is necessary. Feel the recipient fill with the color, bathed in it, filling with light. Moving down to the end of the paragraph here. If you strengthen the connection by using the invoking pentagram, close it by drawing the banishing pentagram and release the connection with a blessing. So I like this exercise, and I think it is a wonderful exercise, and I really want to try it. It's not actually technically an exercise that he puts in the book, and I don't know why he doesn't do that. This book is very exercise heavy, and I do appreciate that, but I'm kind of wondering why this one wasn't in there. I think that is something that would be a wonderful addition as an extra exercise. Moving on also page 188, he says, you are asking the divine mind. He's talking about, whenever you're sending energy to somebody. You're asking the divine mind, the goddess and God, for permission to send light. See, I don't ask permission to send positive vibes to somebody. And maybe I'm overstepping my bounds. But yeah, that's not something I've ever done. I don't ask for permission to bestow a blessing upon somebody, to wish them well. Yeah, if people really have an aversion to well wishes, they will negate that and neutralize that themselves with um, their own, guardedness, I guess you would say. Even people who aren't witches will naturally do this if they are somebody that is overtly guarded in their way of thinking and their way of being. If they are emotionally guarded, they will not let any blessings come to them. It doesn't matter how much you try, they will shut it down. So, yeah, I don't ask deity for permission to send light to somebody. That, to me, is not something I need to worry them with. My thing is, if I'm being a responsible caster of a spell or whatnot, then it's all good. If I am irresponsible whenever I cast, then it will come back to me anyway in a negative way. So therefore, everything's already figured out. I don't see the need in going to deity to ask for permission to do a spell. It is something that has already been given to us to be able to do. So therefore, they expect us to take responsibility with it. If we misuse it or use it in a negative manner or a harmful manner, then I think that it takes care of itself. And that's not necessarily something that deity has to be bothered with. So, anyway, we're going to move on. He then says at the bottom of the paragraph, witches live in a subculture that commonly asks, "Can I send light?" when being told of a problem. We have a light network instead of a prayer circle, where groups will send light to those in need. But if you can't ask directly, ask the divine mind. Again, I don't necessarily ask the divine for permission to send good thoughts or well wishes to somebody or light, because if that person doesn't want it, they're going to send it away themselves or neutralize it in their own way, having their own guards up and whatnot. So it kind of works itself out there. Exercise 22 is an exercise on sending light. And, oh, he did put this in here. Okay. I totally forgot I read this. I did read through the chapter, I swear. I even have places underlined, but I forgot all about this. Okay. So, yeah, he does add that in there. I wish he would have put it along with the previous section, but hey, he has it in there. My bad. As you can tell, this is not scripted at all, and I'm probably not going to edit much of this. I'm going to edit a couple minutes out of it because it was me sitting here reading. But anyway, like reading to myself, not even reading to you guys. We're going to go to page 191. Sending light is a powerful technique, is what he says, and I do agree. Every bit helps change a situation. Do not underestimate the power of intention. And I do agree with this. Whenever somebody is having a hard time, and even if they don't say, send light, send prayers, whatever. Again, I think that is always stuff that is helpful. And if they're open to receiving it, every little bit helps. But I wouldn't, again, this is just me. You have to decide what's right for you. I wouldn't withhold a prayer or light or well wishes to somebody just because they were not necessarily being receptive to it. So, yeah. I think that's something that you just have to either do or don't do and kind of feel your way through from time to time, depending on the situation and whatnot. Anyway, moving on. Again, at the bottom of page 191, witches are often accused of seeing things strictly in terms of black and white, wearing black robes and practicing much of the craft at night. These are times and colors of power for us. I can tend to agree. Black absorbs energy, drawing what we need to us, and white reflects energy. There are specific properties of the physical colors. Black is only black because it absorbs the light spectrum, and white reflects it. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. Because to me, black is all colors. It absorbs light, yes, but there are many people, and I want to kind of, because this has nothing to do really with this, but it's what makes me think of this. There is an ongoing debate whether or not white is all colors or black is all colors, and which one you use for what. I will use white as the catch-all in terms of candles. Whenever I use black, it is because that is all colors to me. And the reason I say that is because if you take every single crayon color and you draw everything over top of one another, you're going to get black. That's just the way it is. But he is right here. Black does absorb colors. There is an individual, I can't remember his name. He has like the absolute black, like pitch black type of paint that he has the patent for and all that. And anyway, he painted an entire room in this black paint and turns on like a light bulb in there, and you cannot see like barely anything unless you're right up against the light. It's kind of incredible how much it absorbs of light. And it's kind of eerie looking too. So anyway, if you haven't seen that, go and check out one of those videos. It's weird, it's creepy. It's like Ultimate Black or something like that is what's called. Anyway, so yeah, I can definitely see how black absorbs light and white reflects light. Whenever I do eBay photos, I use a light box that has a white surrounding, and it bounces the light everywhere. Whenever I do the actual like really professional looking videos with my nice camera and all that stuff, instead of these, sit at my desk and do videos, I would have the light umbrellas and whatnot that had light, the white umbrellas. Anyway, I'm rambling, but that white umbrella would reflect the light and just let enough through to light me from all angles, and it would bounce the rest of it out of the way and whatnot, so I wasn't too overtly lit. So anyway, yeah, I can agree with this. He goes on to say, but before I go on, I just, whenever I read that brought to mind the black being all colors and white being the absence of color, and I just wanted to put that in there, even though nobody asked for my opinion on that. Anyway, going on. The night is the time of the moon and the goddess, the divine aspect many witches favor. Some systems of magic break it down into black magic, white magic, or even gray magic. Ugh, I hate those terms. He goes on to say, magic is a full spectrum of color and color, light, and life. In essence, witches are true light workers because we use not only all the shades of gray in between and I am so sorry. We not only use all the shades of gray in between the two extremes, but we also find the rainbow between black and white. Okay, that's all I'm going to read for right now. So, I have some major hangups between the terms black magic, white magic, because it does have connotations to races and whatnot, and I really kind of want to do away with those. there's no harm in changing our language and the way we view things into, you know, a negative spell or a positive spell, or um, uh, something a little bit more um, vengeful, or, you know, uplifting. You know, changing your vocabulary on things like this is actually very helpful, and it kind of takes away some of those connotations and that racial stigma of black being bad and white being good. So I did want to touch on that. So we have some new assignments. Exercise 21 and 22. Complete and record your experiences in your Book of Shadows or your journal. Um, Continue to send light to yourself, other people, places, and the world as a part of your regular practice. If you cannot meditate regularly, still take a few moments to work with light and intention. You don't need to be in a deep meditative state to feel the power of light. Use your trigger. This, I will agree with him totally. Um, you know, you can send light to somebody in a grocery aisle. You know, you sitting there, you see somebody that is completely disheveled. They seem like they've been run through the mud and put up wet. You know, they're just having a hard ass time. Send them a little light. Just be like, okay, I'm sending you a little bit of light there, and you know, I'm gonna give you a little bit of energy, just a little bit, help you along, maybe make you feel a little bit better, maybe not so tired, um, you know, maybe give you enough energy to get home and get some rest and respite from life. So you don't need to be in a meditative state to do this. If you're working with your energy and whatnot often, you will be able to send this to somebody very easily, at a drop of a hat. So, yeah, I totally agree with this, and I would recommend doing that, sending light to people. And of course, you can use your trigger for this as well. Let's see what else we got. Continuing assignments. Daily journal, 3 pages a day. Focus on regular meditation practice at least 3 times a week, if not daily. Honor and recognize your intuition. Continue to ask questions, as always. Use instant magic in your life. Probably not going to do that every day. Neutralize unwanted thoughts and intentions. Maybe, maybe not. Probably not. I'll be honest. I'm not going to uh, abide strictly by the advice given here, but I will do some of the things that are suggested, of course. Um, but I can't sit there and neutralize every single unwanted thought and feeling, thought and intention that comes into my mind. Those are times of introspection and working on those, and not just throwing them out. To me, that seems like what this is doing, and to me, that is more of a time to sit back and say, now, why did I just have that thought? Let's explore this a little bit. So I kind of welcome the negative thoughts, or the unwanted thoughts, during certain times, especially whenever I have time. Excuse me, Jelly. Especially whenever I have time to sit there and I do apologize for hitting the mic. Whenever I have time to sit there and actually meditate on this unwanted thought. Excuse you, you're hitting the mic. Okay, go down there and play. So anyway, he says, tips. Pay strict attention to your feelings when you send these colors of light. Even if you don't see anything, don't get frustrated. Notice how you feel. As I said, the light is not physical, so you do not necessarily have to see it for it to be there, affecting you. With the principle of vibration, you asked to vibrate in harmony with an abstract concept. Come on, mouth. Only a little bit longer. There were probably a few visuals, only feelings. You can do the same with the vibrations of color. Ask to vibrate in harmony with a color if you have difficulty visualizing it. Next tip is watch sunrises and sunsets. Not only will they inspire and influence your use of color magic, but recognizing, honoring, and taking time to be a part of the natural cycles is a fundamental part of witchcraft. Okay, so let's discuss a little bit. You gonna come up here? No? Okay, fine. I see the sunrise and sunset just about every day, kind of. I'm usually either going to work or coming home from work. As of right now, like whenever I'm at work, I see the sunset. I don't sit there and watch it, but I do sometimes take it in. And that is something that I need to do a little bit more often. Kind of taking that moment of, hey, even though I'm at work right now, I can still sit here and admire this. Not so much in the morning. Currently, whenever I get up in the morning, the sun has already come up a little bit, and I need to get ready for work, get a shower, and go. And that's usually my daily routine. So, yeah, maybe not the sunrise, but definitely the sunsets. I will try to focus a little bit more on in my day-to-day life. So anyway, we got through another one. Join me next week for chapter 11 for the Inner Temple Witchcraft. I'm going to try to read chapter 11 this weekend and do that video early, because I have a hell of a week coming up. From the time that you're seeing this to about, let's see, the 18th, no, 19th, until the 19th, I'm not going to really have a day off. So, you okay over there? You got a hairball. But I'm not really going to have a day off. So I'm going to try to read the next chapter, and maybe I'll have it done whenever I'm down in Dover, so you'll be seeing a different background. But yeah, I'm gonna be trying to get some videos pumped out here, because it's going to be a hell of a 2 weeks coming up with very little time off. So anyway, all things having to do with work. Yeah. In the meantime, while you are sending light and love to people, I'm not going to give away any names, but I do have a coworker that is quite ill, and it is cancer. And if you can send this individual, if you can send her a little blessing of light or healing energy, Reiki, if you do Reiki, it would always be much appreciated for her. So if you can send, Reiki or healing energy towards her, and yeah, it would be much appreciated. I know that she would be appreciative of it. So that gives you kind of somebody to practice on whenever you're sending light and healing energies. So, and I hate to say practice on, as if it's if it goes wrong, it's that didn't sound right, didn't come out right, but it would be much appreciative if you did do that. So anyway, I would also enjoy a little bit of energy my way, because like I said, this is going to be a long 2 weeks. And yeah, that's all that I have for this Witchy Book Club series. Again, join me next week for chapter 11 in the Inner Temple of Witchcraft. And yeah, let's see. Tune in on Sunday. We are going through some biblical verses, and we're going to break them down. We're going to have some fun. Yeah, haven't really put everything together for that. Hopefully it comes all together. Might be filming that one down in Dover, almost definitely, because Friday, I'm recording this on Thursday night. On Friday, I'm going to be doing a lot of the in-depth research before I go down to Dover. So, yeah. And then I'll put everything together on Saturday, do a little bit more research and whatnot. Even though I've already done some, and I have some thoughts. But, yeah, I kind of want to flesh everything out on between Friday and Saturday for that one. So you'll probably see that background then if you're joining me on Christo-Paganism Sunday. And then we are back into the Tarot Talk Tuesdays with the Seven of Swords. Yes, the Seven of Swords. And then Witchy Wednesday, a request from you guys, or from one of y'all, was to see the study incense that I have made. That is actually, reach over here without bumping the mic, actually in this little thing here. So I don't necessarily need to make more study incense as of right now, but I probably could and it wouldn't hurt. So yeah, maybe I'll show you guys an actual making of it. Maybe I will just show you the process of doing it. Anyway, don't know, haven't figured it out yet, but probably should figure that out soon because I'm about to do that video now. So anyway, I've rambled on far too long. Until next time, may you have love, hugs, and ladybugs. Bye-bye.